Welcome back for another episode of Super Fun Game Review Podcast Go. Find us on facebook.com/superfunpodcast, twitter.com/superfunpodcast, patreon.com/superfunpodcast, Instagram at superfunpodcastgo, iTunes at Superfun Game Review Podcast Go. Thanks and enjoy the show.
Welcome back, everyone, for another episode of Super Fun Game Review Podcast Go! I'm your host tonight. My name's Ralph. I like brains. And to my left, I have Steve.
Here, use my rope, Jill.
And to my right, I have Harry.
The ultimate being Tyrant.
Chris, stop it. Stop laughing. If you guys couldn't guess, tonight we are reviewing Resident Evil for the PlayStation.
Jill, here's a lockpick.
For the master of all locks. You're in Amazon.
What? Oh, yeah, he does say that.
Jill, you're
in
an Amazon.
And then she gets slammed into a wall by Tyrant. Oh.
I wouldn't know, because I played Chris.
Oh.
For this
Chris?
evening.
Ooh.
Where's Chris?
Yeah, disclaimer. Harry played through as Chris. Ralph and I had Jill.
We did.
It was an Eiffel Tower.
We did. And another disclaimer.
Wait. Was Jill in between you guys, and you guys made a Jill sandwich?
Oh,
no.
Here's my jelly. My jelly. Jelly? Is that a stretch?
Puns.
We got to move on.
The pun game. Oh, my God.
It's strawberry because it's blood.
All right. In case you couldn't tell, somebody is missing tonight. We don't have the Clark Man Clark. He's on a brief hiatus. He'll be back soon.
But you have us. Sorry, guys.
All right, let's go into our initial impressions. Steve, hit it.
How hard? I
Be very powerful.
here is a disclaimer. I have never played this game. There is actually very few Resident Evils that I have played.
Jesus, really?
Yeah, no, to the dismay of Harry. I was excited because obviously it's a huge franchise. And
Huge.
We'll get into that.
Oh.
Just saying. Just saying.
I think Steve works for the Umbrella Corporation.
He'll listen to me if he doesn't want anything to happen to his wife and children, Barry.
Someone in stars is a traitor. All right, so my initial impressions. This was the very first game I ever bought for the PlayStation 1.
Really?
Yes. Even before, and I didn't even have a memory card when I bought this. So I played the beginning over and over and over again until I finally decided to go out and buy a memory card.
I thought you were going to say you beat it without saving.
No, I did not. But funny thing about this game is my mom was really mad at me when I bought it.
Okay.
That is hilarious.
Now let me explain why.
All right, explain.
The year previous, I bought Nintendo 64. No, I didn't buy. I got it for Christmas. And my mom saw me always hogging the system. So she's like, I'm going to buy your brother the PlayStation. And as soon as I found out she was buying him the PlayStation, I went out to the store and bought Resident Evil 1, even before he even got it for Christmas. And she was like, you have your own system. You can't be playing games on this one. I was like, but they're so much more violent. She was pretty mad about that. But my brother loved the game as well.
Cool.
So we took turns playing through this game.
He was Jill, you were Chris. Got it.
No, opposite.
Opposite.
He played Chris. I played as Jill.
Nice.
Yeah.
You always do like a strong feminine character, but then I don't
No,
know.
no, that's you. Let's be clear. That's you, Steve, not Harry.
So that's why
Yep.
I played as Jill, because it's not a strong female lead character.
It's those pixels, man. It's the shape of those pixels. They do it for you.
Depends on which one. Are we talking Sniper Wolf or
calling
Lara
it.
Croft? Because Lara Croft, it was more pyramid. Sniper Wolf, I mean,
Nude code? Nude code? No.
what?
There is no nude code.
No, there isn't. just undecode. Go back and forth in the vent 3 times.
Undecode. Okay, I didn't know about that one. Anyway,
Okay.
so my initial impressions, Harry can attest to this. When we were still working together, I actually played this game. I played both Chris and Jill because I, obviously had heard so much about Resident Evil. There were several YouTube series, and including shout out to Game Trailers. They did a really great. They used to do a lot of retrospectives. Game Trailers is defunct now. I don't know if anybody listening has ever watched them in the past, but I used to go to them for a lot of game reviews, and they did a retrospective series on several franchises, but the Resident Evil one was very good, and it was very well done. Shout out to you guys. That's great work. And it sort of hooked me, and I would just watch those videos over and over again for the way that they were paced and edited and cut and the whole story. And at the end of it, after they had reviewed all the games in the series, they did a timeline where they started at the very beginning and went through all the events of the franchise up until that point. And this was all before 5 launched, I think.
Okay.
So I don't even think it's in HD, to be honest. It's that dated, but still very well done. Got me very interested. I started to collect the franchise. I have 4. I've put several hours into 4. To my utter shame, I've never beaten 4.
Oh, dart in the neck.
It's a good night.
I have 1 and 2 digital copies, but the first one I really wanted to tackle that, and my first playthrough was with Chris a couple years ago. Really enjoyed it, and then played again as Jill, and I'm positive that I didn't use any walkthroughs because I made like my own maps and keys and like symbols and like did a chart and everything, so I had the whole thing ready to go. And the first time I played as Jill, I actually got a bad ending because after you defeat the snake, and it's mush, and it makes that hole in the ground. I went down, and Barry said, "Oh, I have a rope. Give me a minute, I'll be back." I was like, "Fuck out of here, Barry," and I just kept going. And you're supposed to wait for him in order for him to come with that rope, and then that leads you down the path for the good Jill Barry ending.
Mm-hmm.
So when it came time to do this again, I wanted to play it again, and I wanted to play as Jill, and I wanted to get the good ending, and I did. We'll get into, obviously the main thoughts and feelings of the game and how much I like or don't like it, but,
Yeah.
Classic franchise. I really think this franchise has lost its way.
It has. I think it was ever, like, a lot of people argue 4 is a great game, but that's when the feel of the franchise took a completely different direction.
Agreed.
Huh.
And I think they model a lot of games. Like 4, 5, and 6 feel very similar.
Evil Within has been influenced by it.
Yeah.
Other franchises.
No, because I mean,
third-person shooters.
You see that with, other franchises as well. There's like there's a point where it just changes direction. Like there's the old Resident Evils, like 1, 2, and 3.
Yep.
Very similar feel. 4, 5, and 6, I feel very similar.
And now 7 is its own thing as well.
Yeah, true.
Interesting.
So maybe it's like an every 3 thing. But I know you were saying you were collecting a lot of the games. I did want to mention I have played and own most of even the spin-offs of the series. There's only a handful.
Code Veronica?
I have Code Veronica.
Oh, you mean Survivor? And,
yeah, I have Survivor.
oh.
I have Revelations. I think there's Resident Evil Dead Aim. It was like a first-person shooter on PS2.
You have Resident Evil for the DS?
I had
Deadly
the
Silence.
one on the
toilet.
Game Boy. I don't think it was even Game Boy Color.
Oh, yeah. Is it Gaiden? Or is that...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that
I
Metal Gear
remember you
Gaiden?
talking about that before. Yeah.
So I have like a ton of the Resident Evil games in the series.
Yeah, but all joking aside, though, they made this version of the game, the PlayStation version, for the DS. And it's called Deadly Silence. And it exists and it's real and it's a thing.
Huh.
You can find it, buy it, and play it.
Check that out.
Anyway, if initial impressions are all done, let's move on into game development.
Game development.
Game development.
Not the jingle I was thinking.
Perfect.
That works.
I think someone knows a lot about this.
Me.
Game development.
All right.
Hit us, Harry, with what
Cool.
you
So
got.
I got a bunch of little tidbits all over the place. I did not write them in a very logical order either.
Linear. It's got to be linear. You got to do it right.
Didn't
Yeah.
really manage that
Ugh.
one, did you, Harry?
Look at these. I got some up here. I got some in the.
Harry, our listeners can't see that.
Yeah, true. Sorry.
Unless they can.
It's podcast, Harry.
So first thing I noticed, it was really funny. The staff members who made this game later became, and this is such a prestigious title, Capcom Production Studio 4.
Oh, wow.
Number 4.
Now I don't know if that's like really what they named themselves or if they're just next in succession with like the rest of the crews. I don't know. It just seemed like such a lame title to be a part of.
If game development was an Olympic sport, you wouldn't have a medal.
Oh.
Congratulations.
So much shade.
But yeah, they worked on this game from, I think it was a 3-year development from 1993 to 1996. And I believe the actual director's cut came out in 1998, if I'm not mistaken.
And I believe that was as a holdover for the sequel, right? Because the sequel had been
Yes.
scrapped and then
And
started again.
the actual, I think a lot of copies of director's cut came with what the hell do they call them?
Demo disc?
A demo disc of Resident Evil 2.
Right.
It was
Oh.
kind of like just a bide 'em time until
Gotcha.
Resident Evil 2 came out. So Capcom, there was a game called Sweet Home made by Capcom, was
Alabama?
where they got a lot
No.
of their inspiration
No,
from.
no.
What?
Not Sweet Home, Alabama.
Alabama.
No, just Sweet Home.
Regular Sweet Home.
Sweet Home.
Sweet Home, Missouri.
Now, some of the things that they pulled from this game, which I don't think it's a one-for-one translation, but they use like inventory management, the mansion setting. There was puzzles, the focus on survival, the door loading screen, the multiple endings, using journals and notes to kind of tell the story without like constant dialogue. There was even more aspects that they pulled over. I just didn't feel like rambling.
No. You're fine. I believe also like certain characters can do certain things, and if a player
Oh
dies,
yeah.
that's
I'm
it.
sorry. The lighter and the lockpick. I think they incorporated
Right.
like key items that could be
Right.
used more than once.
And if a character dies, it's like permadeath for that game save, I think.
Gotcha.
So
For going through, for your playthrough.
yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
not for the cart. Yeah.
And that,
Speaking of the
I'm
cart,
sorry. Before
yeah.
you get Sweet Home was created by Takura Fujiwara, who was the one who mentored Shinji Mikami, who worked on Resident Evil Director's Cut. Well, not.
Yeah,
sorry,
I got you.
Resident Evil.
Yeah, like the father of the franchise. I believe Sweet Home is extremely expensive.
Is it?
And is most likely for that reason. Because it is this precursor kind of diamond in the rough, or maybe not diamond in the rough, but hidden gem kind of game that when you think of the NES, nobody talks about Sweet Home. I'm not even positive it had a North American release. I don't think that it did, actually. But it's very interesting that it's practically a remake of it, or an homage to it. In after a couple generations. And it's very interesting that Mikami's mentor made that game, and then he makes this almost as a love letter to it.
Yeah.
Coincidence?
I can probably find Sweet Home online somewhere, and we could probably play it. That'd be pretty cool. But not condoning torrenting, but I don't have $500 for a Japanese only cart that I can't play in English. So
You don't?
just throwing that out there.
This guy. I mean, am I right?
So the first 6 months he worked on the game.
Yeah.
He worked on it solo, just writing the script and developing the characters.
You
He
just-
spent 6 months
on that
writing
script.
this script.
6 months on Jill. Here's a lockpick. Well, that's not really fair, I guess. That's more the voice actor and the direction of the. We'll get into all this, of course, but the
Yeah, but those lines still came from somewhere, though.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
I'm
English
not
isn't
saying
his-
he's the only reason to blame for something like that.
Okay,
But
I mean,
but he was a part of
you-
it.
You write, I don't know. Go ahead and write Shakespeare in Spanish, Harry, and let me know what you come up with. Because it's not English, it's kind of a. It's not really.
tengo o no tengo para es.
let's insult all our Latin listeners.
No, well, I forgot what question was. Pregunta?
Look.
No,
If
that's
it's not
problem.
the original Klingon, I don't want to hear Shakespeare.
Grtak. Bless you.
So originally it was called Biohazard. But when they were looking to bring it over to the U.S. market, the U.S. team basically told them this is an impossible name to trademark in the United States. So they had an internal competition in Capcom to come up with a new name. And somebody at the company just liked the idea of Resident Evil because it was at a mansion. And a lot of the team really stuck on board with that name. So they had to pitch it back to the Japanese, and they decided to go ahead with it. So I never knew why one was called Biohazard, one was Resident Evil before. But it was because they couldn't trademark the name in the U.S. because there was a lot of other... I forget. There was a couple other things using the name Biohazard in the U.S. at the time.
Okay.
I think there was a band name.
The metal band, yeah.
Yeah. I don't... I'm
That's
not
what-
familiar.
Yes.
There's probably a Resident Evil band now.
But there was something else, Biohazard, as well. And they're like, just too much. Name's already taken. You got to come up with something else.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Check that out.
Sort of like how the Nintendo 64 was almost the Ultra 64, but they couldn't use it because Ultra was trademarked by Konami. That's not exactly the same
that's
thing,
weird,
but-
too, because that's like, how can you trademark an adjective?
I don't
Yeah.
know. Gene
Yeah,
Simmons
yeah.
is
That is
trying to
weird.
trademark the devil horn, saying came up with it. If you can try to find a way to monetize something, someone's going to pop up.
Fair point. Total side note, and I might sound like a complete idiot here, but Resident Evil doesn't really make sense.
I would
Like
say
it makes sense because it's a franchise,
Evil
or video
Neighbor.
games, and so it's like.
Great point, Ralph.
Well, okay, no, hold on. It's
Going
it's
off of
like
the
it's
first
like
game,
I
though.
see what
bad
you're- I see where you're
homebody.
going,
Like
yeah.
it doesn't. It's like
Now, as a franchise, it doesn't make as much sense. But if you're just taking the first game into context,
okay.
it took place in a residential home, a mansion. They
Well,
were.
how
I don't
can you
think
call
they
that
were.
things.
residential.
I'm just saying, but I don't
yeah.
think they were like because that was the
Zombie
big,
house.
Yeah, zombie
That,
house.
that would have been a much better title.
House
Zombie
of 1,000
too.
corpses. Oh,
Well,
wow,
you know-
that would have been great.
That would have been great.
Damn you, Rob Zombie.
That kind of makes sense. I mean, again, I don't mean to sound like an idiot or anything, but
Too late.
Resident Evil, it's like I always think just zombies. Like, and that was sort of my first impression before I played the game a couple years ago. It was like, oh, zombies. No, hunters, like giant frog things, a giant fucking snake. Plant 42. What the hell is Plant 42?
I don't know.
And-
In between
and
Plant 41 and 43.
I guess.
what did you think it was?
And Tyrant is like the poor man's Frankenstein. Like I guess it's really not just zombies. It's a hodgepodge of crazy, stupid, and
Evil demon
hilarious things.
Dobermans.
And that actually took me a long time to realize too, because you think zombies initially, and then you get that stuck in your head, like, oh, it's supposed to be about zombies, but it's really about bioterrorism. If you really think about it.
Yeah, well, it
The
starts
Umbrella
off, the
Corporation.
first things you see are basically zombies, and you're like, oh, this is what I'm going to expect. And then that is not the case. But though I think we're getting a little off of game.
True.
development a little bit.
Yeah, no, I
Sorry.
got a couple other kibits.
Kibbits?
Kibbits.
I got some kibbits for you
Lots of
guys.
kibbits and bits.
You got any more of them kibbits?
No motion capture used for this game whatsoever.
Oh, I'm shocked.
No, they studied a lot of films and other things just to get a general idea how movement should.
I wish everybody could see this.
Yeah, sorry, just that the opening bit where they like go try to find Chris when you're playing as Jill, and Barry's like, Chris is our old pal. Anyway, and his
old partner.
old partner.
And his arms are flailing about like
Yeah,
one of
it's
those
like,
wacky wavy inflatable arm flailing tube man.
Yeah, no.
Standing outside of a used car salesman.
Yes.
Hasn't aged too well.
There was also a graveyard that was scrapped from the first game, but if you played the remake on the 2002 like GameCube version, they incorporate that graveyard back into the game.
Okay, I didn't realize that was an omission from the first one.
Yeah, no, they actually meant to have that. I don't know what the reason for cutting it was. I guess it just didn't make sense.
Storage space for the voice acting.
Yeah, maybe.
Got to keep that open.
So now let's talk about the voice acting real quick. As far as the development goes, we'll
Yeah.
talk more in
Yep.
depth when we get to the music section. But English actors during those post-credit scenes and the opening credit scenes where there's actual live actors being used.
Live video,
Yes.
basically.
They filmed that in Japan. They flew everybody over. They did all the filming in Japan.
No expenses spared.
Now, the funny thing is, when they were thinking about localizing it to Japan, they made Japanese audio, just dubbed in. But they thought the Japanese performances were too bad. So
Really?
they didn't use them. On the Japanese release, everything's subtitled, and they use the actual English audio.
Wow.
Now, that makes you think,
This-
if the Japanese was so bad that they had to cut it,
They're tone deaf. Well, not tone deaf, but they're like, this is good English right here. This is good stuff.
that was their standard.
I don't know. Maybe nobody actually like.
Okay, I mean, I don't want to get into sort of like the rumors when it comes to the voice acting stuff because I question whether or not it's deliberate. It's sort of an open like thing. Like, okay, so we've got this game that's got cutscenes. It's got in-game cutscenes. It's got full motion video, and it's got fully voiced characters. Sort of not. I don't want to say in like the beginning of that kind of thing because FMV had been around for a little bit there, and full motion video, well, the same thing. But dialogue, recorded voice, I don't think it was. I mean, now it's like, you know, obviously 20 years later, things are different. But for this one, I can't decide if I want to give it a pass because they didn't know what they were doing or they knew exactly what they were doing and they're brilliant. Sort of like Tommy Wiseau in The Room.
Oh,
like
God.
everybody knows that he tried to make a serious film and it turned out to be the funniest thing on the internet or on the world. and now he's trying to pass it off as a black comedy and make money off of that. That it's not really apples to apples, but I look at it as sort of like the same thing. Like I really don't think there's like this cloaked figure in the corner who's like, no, do that line again. Jill, here's a lockpick. Perfect. Let's move on. Like I don't think somebody really did that, but I like to think that maybe somewhere it was intentional and they knew that they had a horror game with the tone that's like a schlocky horror movie.
Oh, hi, Jill. This hall is dangerous.
But yeah, I think that
Why, Jill? Why?
I did not touch the picture. I did not.
How could you do this? How could you love Barry?
that was all I pretty much had for game development, though. I don't know if you guys came across anything else you wanted to add. I know I really took the microphone on that last one.
Which that's okay. I don't really. Which I almost really hope to just kind of
It's
go
weird.
with what Ralph was saying, where I hope they were just going for the really bad. Like I hope that they sat down and they watched like the terrible 80s B movies and said, that's what I want. Because if that's what they were going for, God damn it,
Well,
they
I
did
think
it.
when they were talking about, like, a lot of people say, like, this has created the horror genre with video games. Like, yes, there was games that they got inspiration from, but this really opened the doors
Alone
to
in the
show
Dark?
this can be successful. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mention
Yeah,
that.
Alone in the Dark.
Did you want to?
Well, what I know of it is that I believe did this game start as a first-person game, and then they changed the build to be similar to Alone in the Dark
That is correct.
with the odd camera angles and the tank controls and the way that it's designed and how everything is, at least in the mansion, is very close. And the game was influenced by Alone in the Dark with the way that the cameras basically are. And I really think that it was a first-person game at first, and they changed that. And the way that it's structured added to the horror. It built the horror. Like, having a zombie on the screen, if you can dodge it, it's not a big deal. But if you're in a narrow hallway and the camera just changed and now your controls are flipped, like, obviously that creates tension. And essentially, Alone in the Dark was an influencer for the game.
Yeah. I actually have Alone in the Dark. Never played more than, like, a half hour of it, but I really want to play through that game sometime.
Never played it.
Yeah. Oh, it's frightening. It feels a little scarier than...
Isn't it kind of goofy to do, though?
Like I said, I haven't played through a ton of it, but I just remembered like these demons just standing in a corner of a room
Holy
and
cow.
just catching you off guard when you walk
we-
in.
Another one I never even heard of.
Yeah,
Let's
it
do
has
that.
For
like
what, Harry? What do you have it for?
a PlayStation 1.
Okay.
It was like a 2-disc combo set, or at least it has like the big case. Remember how like there was the
Yeah,
single layer
the
case,
thick case,
and
yeah.
the thick one.
Thick.
Thick, I like it thick.
Look at Ralph. I like my disc thick.
Oh, sorry. When you were saying Alone in the Dark, he used some of that. When he was creating this game, he found that inspiration midway while developing this game, and just used that as a little bit of inspiration as well for this game. I know you were touching on that, but
Yeah.
Oh, that was adorable. You did it at the same time.
I did want to mention Dino Crisis because it's like a carbon copy, right?
yeah, I think a lot. Well, Capcom made that as well.
Yeah, Capcom.
Yeah.
So
And wasn't it Mikami or no?
I don't know about that.
Okay. Just to throw it in there, Dino Crisis, at least the ones that are on the PlayStation, I don't know about later sequels, but I believe the first one is almost like a carbon copy of Resident Evil with dinosaurs instead of evil residents,
Oh,
like zombies
see
and
what you
hunters.
did.
And it's funny. It's an unlockable costume in Resident Evil 3.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Is the Dino Crisis costume?
Yes.
Oh.
The girl, the
Yeah.
actress in, or the character.
The character.
Character.
Actress in air quotes.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
But no, you can unlock that costume in Resident Evil 3.
Check
Thought
that
was
out.
pretty
We are
badass.
going to make a lot of jokes about the voice actors
Yeah.
in this game. And I just wanted to say real quick, if you retired and have a family and your life is good, I'm very happy. I don't wish any ill on anybody involved in this game. If you say like, yeah, you ever play Resident Evil? Yeah, that's me, Chris Redfield. And be like, it's fucking hilarious and awesome.
That would be
Wonderful.
awesome, though. Just to say you're one of those, even if you were Kenneth. The one,
I was even just saying to Ralph before, because we were watching like all the endings. It's like, where are they now?
yeah.
All right, let's move it on over to story.
Story.
I wrote. Let me just get this out of the way so we could talk serious for the rest of the story.
Talk serious.
about the story.
We're not
So-
going to be serious. Super fun.
Well, okay.
Game
no, I
review.
mean this is way off though. So
All right, do it. Go.
I found
Go.
I found when Chris went into the bathroom throughout this game, he was talking about his vagina a lot. Now, let me explain. When you click on items in the room, he says things like, nothing special, nothing major, dust collects inside. It's dusty and has not been used in a long time.
So like the guardhouse, like the bathroom in the
It was,
guardhouse?
yeah, it was just like bathroom is everywhere, and he would just say something like that. I was like, you should stop talking about his vagina like that.
Wow. Okay.
That
Wow.
is very
All right, okay,
observant.
now on to serious story talk.
No.
Okay.
that wasn't serious. No.
I don't think we can come back from that, and I don't think there's going to be any serious story talk tonight.
All right, music. No, just kidding.
All right. So, how should we begin?
Let's talk about Wesker always wearing sunglasses.
Inside everywhere.
I even found, and I found this so funny. You find one of those like flashback photos of when he was with the raccoon.
He's still wearing
police
sunglasses
department.
in the
And you see the whole
sunglasses.
crew, and there he is standing with his sunglasses
In a
the
lab
picture.
coat. Yeah.
That was his thing.
Oh yeah, that
Don't
was
take away
research and
from-
development picture.
Yeah.
That's what it was. I was just like, fucking take those off.
No.
Whisker.
He has a condition.
Maybe he does.
I don't know.
He's got like how many viruses does he have in the current games?
I don't know.
Endless.
He's
So
the
many?
T and the G.
Oh my God, the T and the G.
He's transgendered?
No. It's T virus in Resident Evil 1. It was the
Oh
G
my
virus
God,
in Resident
Steve.
Evil 2.
Wait, he's TG. It's nothing wrong with that. Wesker, maybe it's whatever he wants to be. That's fine.
Chris, stop laughing. Stop it. So, Bravo team. Wait, no, which team is it?
This is Bravo team.
Bravo, yeah.
Yeah. The Alpha team disappeared.
Alpha
And that's
team.
some of the
gone.
members you find, I think,
Right.
throughout the mansion.
Richard.
So,
Richard is dead.
not to paraphrase, but I think I'm going to paraphrase. So it's a dark and spooky night, and Alpha Team went to investigate some reports of people dying in the Raccoon Forest. Is that right? Raccoon Forest sounds like a location in a Zelda game. In the Oakley Mountains.
Oh,
Outside
right.
Raccoon City. And Bravo Team goes missing. So I'm sorry, Alpha Team goes missing, and they send in Bravo Team. And Bravo Team is like 8 people, or 5 or 6 people, but the main ones are Barry, Wesker, Chris, and Jill. The other ones get either killed off right away, or you find them strewn about in other random locations on the compound. There's a horrible, wonderful, ridiculous FMV at the beginning of the game.
It's glorious.
That sets up the whole thing with like puppet dogs and like fake limbs and close-ups and bad acting. And in the North American version, it was in black and white. The other versions, I believe, they got color, but in North America, it had to be black and white. It was censored, and everybody essentially runs into the mansion. And depending on whether or not you choose Chris or Jill in the beginning, you have a mildly different opening scene, but the course of the game changes from there. And you're in this mansion, you're trying to track down either Chris if you're playing as Jill, or Barry if you're playing as Chris. Is that right? You're trying to find Barry in the beginning? Because Jill's with you.
Yes. Yeah, Barry was the one. Yeah,
Was
because
missing.
I'll have Jill, Wesker, and Chris was my team going in.
In the very beginning, and then of
Yes.
course everybody disappears.
Yeah,
and you're,
everybody
by
disappears.
yourself.
Yep. And you don't really see Jill again until the end of the game. You don't say Wesker again until the end of the game. Oh, no, you do see him midway when you're about to leave the guardhouse.
Oh yeah, you see him there
You just do a quick little. Wait, do you?
with the bees, like the giant hornets or whatever.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah,
Actually, I
no,
might
you
have
see him in the
skipped that
guardhouse.
scene.
Oh, you see him in the guardhouse.
No, I don't know if I did this time around.
Really?
Maybe I skipped that entire scene.
Did you use the V-Jolt or did you fight Plant 42?
I use V-Jolt.
I don't know if that has an impact on it. I just know there's 2 options.
No, I don't think I had. Really? Okay, so what happened at Plant 42 with me? Because I remember, I don't know how it works with Jill and Barry, but I can't even do the V-Jolt as Chris. He doesn't know how to use chemicals.
Oh.
So eventually, I unlock that door, go into the room, the plant grabs you and just hoists you up. And coincidentally, Rebecca just stumbles into the room at that very given moment.
How convenient.
And she's like, I know how to use chemicals. And then she basically goes off.
Makes a V-Jolt.
Yeah. Now, the issue is you have to clear areas out before you get Rebecca at any point in the game, because you take over as her a few times in the game, but she only ever gets 15 bullets and a handgun.
Oh, I forgot about that you actually play as her, because you never play as Barry in
No.
Jill's
No.
No,
playthrough.
you do not.
I would have liked to.
Yeah, Barry's awesome. He has that sick-ass gun right from the get-go. But yeah, no, there are a couple scenes where you have to play. Again, I think Chris gets bitten by the snake.
I got bit by the snake.
The first yawn that you fight. I think it's called a yawn. if I'm
Yawn.
not-
Is there only one?
You mean this entire game?
Oh, yeah, right, okay. Yeah, sure.
No, I think you fight it twice. Because the first time you fight it in the one room and you get...
Yeah, you
think-
fight it twice, but it's only one. It's one entity.
Yes.
One
Yeah,
snake.
yeah. Sorry. So he gets bit, and then Rebecca has to run down across the building, grab it. That's actually the first room you find her in,
Okay.
too.
Okay,
The room that
okay.
you send her to.
For a safe room.
Yes.
Okay, in the Jill playthrough, if you don't get bit by the snake, you're fine. You can progress on. If you get bit by the snake, you pass out, and then it's implied that I think Barry makes the antidote and gives it to you, and then you just recover.
Don't you just wake
Yeah,
up
I did.
and
Just wake up, yeah.
Basically,
To go back to the main part of the story, I forgot to mention that there are rabid Dobermans that are attacking everybody, and they force everyone into the house, and from there you have to find your other teammates essentially, and it spirals out of control from there, where you find that the mansion has a series of puzzles, a lot of locked doors and keys, and just general weirdness and macabre.
there's something afoot.
Something afoot. And a lot of typewriters. I'm not sure why they need so many typewriters, but they've got them.
Hey, they got something to say. They want to make sure when they have an idea, it's just right there and ready to go.
Exactly.
course.
Nothing wrong with that.
And it's not long. If you're playing as Jill, you discover a corpse and then the first zombie. And as Chris, I guess it's the same zombie, but you don't find the corpse in the beginning.
Was that?
No, it's not a corpse. I'm sorry, it's blood. It's just blood is what you find.
Wait,
no, you
you
find
move
a
on.
corpse.
Ken-
Yeah,
it's
Kenny.
Kenneth.
Well, you find
Kenneth.
Kenneth, yeah,
Yeah,
with
you're
the head
right.
missing.
I like calling him Kenny. Oh
Kenny's
my
got
God,
it.
did they kill Kenny? I did have to
my
explain that
God.
the first
You
time.
bastards.
I see what you did.
Ah.
Fucking good.
Kenneth's got a few spare magazines too, I guess.
Yeah.
But
Yes, he does.
yeah, from there you progress through the house. You fight the giant snake. You go out into the yard behind. You go into the guardhouses. You fight Plant 42. You can use the V-Jolt. As Jill, we did use the V-Jolt.
Rebecca uses the V-Jolt because it's the
Right.
only way to kind of loosen the grip on Chris.
Right. I did see footage online somewhere where I think if you're Jill and you go to fight it, Barry comes in to help you.
Yeah, I think I saw something like that. Like he comes with like a flamethrower or something.
Yeah, or maybe just flame rounds for the grenade
Yeah.
launcher. I'm not sure.
Something like that. I
Because-
do remember seeing something like that though.
Yeah, because I used the V-Jolt. From there, you go back into the mansion, and after you go back into the mansion, that's when the hunters show up, who are
Oh, they're fantastic.
fucking
They're
intense.
They're so
ridiculous.
fun.
Oh, they just I know this is like a set camera angle type of game. They put them just off camera
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of times.
Oh,
so
yeah. Mhm.
that you're rounding a corner and boom, you're eye to eye with one. Like,
Yeah.
It's insane.
And that first hunter that comes in the house from the outside, and then he just walks in the hallway he's like, "Hey, what's up? I'm a hunter. I'm here." I just find that to be so funny. I laughed out loud even this time because I knew it was coming. So you go back into the house, you do a couple more things, then you end up going into the underground again, don't you? And then eventually the laboratory.
Yeah, you do the cave first, I think.
Oh, the cave. I forgot about the
yeah,
cave.
yeah, get through the cave. The cave is short. You can get through that in maybe like 10 minutes.
Giant spider.
Yeah. Which, when we get to gameplay, I want to talk about that real quick.
Okay.
But yeah, then you
Spider.
get to the lab, which has always been my favorite part of this game.
Really? The lab?
I love it. I don't know, for some reason, I've always enjoyed the lab every time I played this game.
Those bug-like things always annoy
Chimeras.
me. The chimera.
Chimera.
Yeah.
Actually, I remember being able to avoid them pretty well. I was wasting ammo at that point on them, and I just fuck it, and I just avoided them. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, no problem, because I had abundance of health at that point for this playthrough anyway.
I mean, for some of it, it was pretty much just better just to kind of run through instead of just trying to waste your time
Oh, yeah.
shooting.
No, I had an abundance of ammo.
You were rootin' tootin'.
So, I think as soon as I got to the lab, I just switched to the Magnum for the rest of the game.
Cool. So you get to the lab.
Cold Python, sorry.
Cold Python.
Sorry.
It's all right. No, you're good.
They bring in the Magnum in Resident Evil 2.
Cold Python, isn't that what Rick from Walking Dead uses?
Yeah.
So you get to the lab. You have to then find a computer password off of a wall by using a blue light and go in and get to the
Oh,
computer and
yeah.
unlock some doors, which is just really funny. And I love the first person segments where you're at the computer. I just think that's so funny. And you
Oh,
you,
and if you
snap
screw up
and
the
point
password,
it.
they bang the
Yeah,
desk
yeah.
and everything. Oh,
It's so ridiculous and out of
great.
place.
And funny that you mentioned that I don't know if you remember, but Ada is used.
Ada, yeah.
Is one of the logins or
And
something
John-
like that. Yeah.
John's
where
the,
they are
password.
mentioned more in the second game, which I like how they piece some of that into the second game.
Okay. I
Yeah.
was wondering why you had a collaboration. I was like, did that come later? Like more of references?
Ada Wong is a big, well, not a.
She's in 2 and 4.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and I guess 6 too, but I didn't finish 6. So.
6 was so bad.
Anyway, so you get through the laboratory and then you're in I guess in between area, and If you're playing as Jill, you find that Barry was a turncoat and he was basically under the will of Wesker the whole time. You find out that Wesker's a bad guy. If you're Chris, you find the same thing, but Barry's not there. He takes you into what? Did I skip something?
No.
Okay.
No, I was going along. I was looking at him to see his reaction.
No.
For the
Side note,
for the
since
Chris side.
we're doing parallels on characters, Rebecca, she is a rookie. She
Yeah.
is like brand new to the Force. She doesn't have a lot of field experience at this point. She was part of Alpha Team.
Well, that's not true. If you play Resident Evil 0, she's very experienced.
Sure.
Retcon. I derailed your thought. I'm sorry.
Whole Jill thing. She's captured, like, because you find either
Oh, the MO discs. Yep.
her or Chris in the prison at the end of the game. And they're very easy to pass and let die by mistake. Because even if you put the passcodes in, you have to go again after you set off the alarm system and go actually open the door to let them out of the cell. And it's just very easy to bypass at that point in the game. But yeah, at some point towards the end, it's revealed Wesker is working with the labs. They didn't really get too much into his motives. I didn't read all the documents this playthrough, though.
Yeah.
I am guilty of that. Maybe I should have spent the time reading all of it. I remember the gist. A lot of them were just talking backstories of certain people turning and certain things they didn't like about working in the lab. And
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah.
A lot of like tidbits to
The
kind of hint
guards
at
kinda
what's
hint.
going on.
And then
So
like
that's
where they
turned into-
wouldn't let anybody leave the premises or anything.
Yeah, I
remember
once
reading
once
that
shit
one.
started going down, and it's like okay.
And the famous one is where the journal entry ends with it just shows little less and less thought each day, and it ends with itchy.
Itchy.
Tasty.
itchy, tasty. Yeah.
Itchy tasty? I thought it was like itchy hungry or something. But okay,
No, it's
yeah.
itchy and tasty.
Itchy tasty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that one. Isn't that zombie in the closet behind you?
Trapped in the closet, stuck with the midget.
Okay.
itchy and tasty. Then I ate his face.
So then Wesker reveals the Tyrant, his pet project of sort of Frankenstein with his heart on the outside.
The ultimate
Well designed there, Wesker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
You took your sunglasses off and took a look at it. You drop Tyrant and then you run out. That's when I think you can unlock. After you leave Tyrant, doesn't Wesker start the sequence? No, Chris starts the sequence when you play as Chris, right?
No.
He doesn't start the reactor?
Rebecca does.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and she just runs up to you. And it's funny. She's like, I'm going to set off a bomb or something like. She says something
That's
along
it.
those lines. And then out of nowhere, she opens a door and she's like, I set off the bomb or something like that. And you just see the timer instantly flash up on the screen immediately after she says it. I thought that was really
Great
funny.
job,
Oh,
bitch.
jeez.
No, what else did I want to say? So couple of the lines because they're kind of cheesy, but
Kinda.
okay. They're very cheesy.
A
Kinda
little bit, no?
cheesy.
So Wesker is explaining his whole master plan like a normal villain does in any franchise.
Yep.
And he's taken the water out of the tank to release Tyrant on Chris because I was playing as Chris, and he's like the ultimate being, Tyrant. And then I think it's important to note Tyrant does turn on Wesker.
Mm-hmm.
That maybe he can't be controlled
Mm-hmm.
and stabs Wesker, and it would appear in this game that he died.
Yes.
Appear.
And we later find out, and later down the road, that's not true. But for this game, if it were a standalone, we would all probably guess that he would be dead.
When is that? Is that in Code Veronica we find out he's alive? He doesn't show up in
I don't
2
think
or
he shows
3.
up at 2 at all. I don't think he shows up in 3 at all either. Probably Veronica or Resident Evil 4. I know he's a big character. He's a big villain in 4 because you fight him.
I remember you being
Thought you fight
really
him in
excited.
5.
No, it was 4.
You fight Wesker. Leon fights Wesker in 4?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then there's a timer.
Sorry,
Oh,
before
go
I
ahead.
so when you come back out of the room after you fight Tyrant, fight. Rebecca runs up and she's like, "Oh, what happened?" And Chris chimes in with, "He's sleeping with the ultimate failure."
Oh my god. Burn.
Wow.
Sick burn, Chris.
They put some deep thought in that one. Jesus.
Oh my god.
So something, I don't know. It was just really bad. But I mean, they're sprinkled all over the game.
Oh
Again.
yeah. God.
I mean,
We could
quality
quote 'em all there.
dialogue? Yes.
Yes,
It's all
yes.
over. It's abundant.
What is this? Wow. What a mansion.
That's your favorite line.
And I don't know. I don't know if I have a favorite line. I mean, everyone talks about Jill's sandwich, but what I really like about Jill's sandwich. or one
Ooh,
of the
did
things that's
anybody
funny-
die in that? Oh, wait, that's gameplay.
No, that's fine. No, that's fine. No, I don't know if you can. Can you?
Oh, and to become a Jill sandwich? No. I don't think
There is a
can.
way.
do
I
you
have failed
die?
with Jill before. I don't know how that happened, but I did fail with Jill before.
No, because I think Barry comes to save you from the room regardless. At least that.
No,
at
I
least in
played
that
sometime
interest.
before. He never showed up to that room because I was like, well, where's the prompts? Where's the prompts? And then all of a sudden, Jill's dead. I don't know what I had to do to trigger that.
Triggered.
But no, it's a lot easier to kill Chris if you don't take the broken shotgun. Because you guys had it easy. All you had to
Yeah.
take was the shotgun off the mantle.
Yep.
It was the shotgun, correct?
Yep.
It wasn't the
Yep.
grenade launcher?
No.
Grenade launcher's on the balcony with Forrest, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Where you had to go
Yes.
up and just take it off his body instead of the.
He gets up, doesn't he?
He can. Or no. If you get too close to the body,
crows.
because the crows will come get you.
Yeah, the crows.
Because you
okay.
can inch near him and then take it from him, but if you try to go any further, then you get beat up by the crows.
Got it.
Goddamn birds.
Pecked.
Sorry,
Thanks,
yeah.
Hitchcock.
I guess that's gameplay too. Sorry, I guess I'm ready for gameplay.
You sound primed. I'll admit that.
Well,
but
let's hit the end of get towards the end of story, so
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can
yeah.
get your gameplay fix.
So after the timer begins, depending on whoever it is that sets it, you have to do a couple things and basically get to the helipad. And I have to admit that playing as Jill, it's like, oh, here's a battery. Oh, you have to put the battery in to make the elevator work. Why?
I know
they
why
do
now,
this?
but it is
To
stupid.
slow it down. To
They
slow us
need you
down?
to keep one slot open to pick up the the rocket launcher.
The
rocket launcher.
Oh, that's a very good point.
Yeah,
You
that's
need
why
to
they
have
make
one
you do
slot
that.
open. Yeah,
But it is very frustrating when you don't plan ahead and you're like, "Look, I brought 6 first aid sprays."
yeah.
Because I knew going into that I wasn't going to need to shoot them at all, except for the rocket launcher. So I just
Doom.
layered up on health items.
Smart. Yeah, we'll get into Tyrant later. But you get up
Get
to
up.
the
Makeup. I don't know the lyrics.
wake up, grab a brush and put on a little makeup. How this goes fade away the shake up.
What
What
do
you think is on the table?
Here
Here
you
you
go,
go, creating
creating
another
another
table.
fable.
You wanted to.
You guys missed a line in there though.
No.
Somebody that missed. Yeah, or maybe it's a back.
Wake up.
He's like,
Grab a.
somebody's whispering.
Anyway,
Oh, I got you. That's.
Or he's like, wait, the
Wake up.
Grab a brush and a little makeup.
how this goes fade away the shake up. Why do you leave the keys up on the table? Here you go, creating another fable.
You wanted to.
No, never mind.
But yeah, no, I know what you.
How this goes fade away the shake up.
He just repeats it, but really, really quiet.
Okay, fine.
I don't think you trust
In
in
my.
self-righteous suicide.
It turned
I
into show tunes.
cry.
when angels deserve to die.
This is Ethel Merman. You'll be swell. You'll be great.
When the producers meet System of a Down.
Starting here. Starting now. Airplane? No. Okay.
No.
I'm going to cut that shit in. So you get up to Tyrant, or I'm sorry, you get to the helipad, and then you don't you call Brad on the radio, who I guess for 4 hours he had enough fuel that he could just float around, just fly around.
I'm gonna wait.
Is anybody there? Is anybody there? Hello?
Yeah, he was there
still
all
here.
night.
He was
'Cause
there all night.
It's sunrise by the time you're getting to the
Yeah.
to the helipad.
Yeah.
You get up there, and the timer's still going, and Tyrant plops out. And I have to admit, a lot of the graphical things I give a pass, but the smoke when he's coming out just looks so bad.
That was like the
yeah.
best part. It was so realistic.
He-
It felt like I was there.
Yeah, right? He comes up, and you have to avoid him until the timer gets to 30 seconds, and then Brad Vickers, who not only has been flying the helicopter for 4 hours on the radio, who has a rocket launcher, will drop it to you, and then you can... No, that's Resident Evil 2 is you game over, and you blast him. In this one, yeah, you just hit him with the rocket launcher, Tyrant dies, you get on the helicopter, and then depending on how your progress went, you get one of several endings, and I say several because... Steve and I watched them all before you got here, Harry, and there's like 10 minutes of endings with different variations on who lived, who died.
There is a lot.
They use the same footage over and over again, though,
Well,
don't they?
Well, the very beginning, like when you see the helicopter taking off, and then like
Yeah,
the
that's all
sunset
the
in the back,
same. Yeah.
that's the same. And then that's where the glorious FMV
FMV
kicks in, and then it depends on who lived, who you finished with, and
What ending did you guys get then?
Well, for this one, I'll admit I used a guide to smooth the playthrough along. So I had Chris and I had Barry.
Okay.
So
She's getting her Jill
oh my
sandwich.
god, there it was.
I went along with Ralph and used a guide to kind of make it a little smoother. But I only had Barry.
Oh, you left Chris?
Yeah, I left Chris. Chris is a bitch.
Did you do the MO discs?
No.
No? You didn't even.
Nah.
So that really cuts down on the time that you're in the facility then at the end of the game then
Yeah.
too. Because a lot of it is going around and collecting the MO discs.
I wasn't too worried. It kind of the walkthrough I was using, it was kind of like choose your own adventure, because they did say, they preface it in the beginning, it's like you can have this many different endings, and I figure it's like, all right, well, if it's playing one or the other, and with, I was assuming 4, but with the 3 of us playing through, it's like, let's throw some variety in. And then Barry had my heart from the beginning as soon as he gave me that lockpick. So I'm like, you have to make it. When he recognized me as the master of all
Master of unlocking.
You
had me at Master Barry.
Jill, here's my Colt Python.
You should see me fishing.
Oh, Barry, you're so optimistic.
No, I had the good ending as well. I saved Rebecca and Jill.
Oh, yeah.
So you have both on the helicopter.
I did not
on the
need
way
a
out.
guide. I've played this game so many times in the past. I basically knew what to do. I knew where all key items were. I knew.
Do you have VJolt memorized? No, wait, you said you didn't do VJolt.
No, but there's a quick guide on the wall that's like 1 + 2 is 3, 3 + 4 is 7. Like you just do that
So how many times have you beaten it?
6 or 7 times.
Oh, okay. Well, I think that's most of the story. Umbrella, bad. Stars, good.
Not the Alpha team though.
Alpha team,
Dead.
dead.
Yeah.
Let's move on into gameplay.
Gameplay.
I do like the first, not the first person, the third person point of view, fixed camera angles. I
Okay.
miss that in video games.
You miss it?
I do miss it. I know everybody does the first person point of view anymore. It's just
Not
Oh,
everybody, but a
Yeah,
lot.
but-
Yeah.
First or third, that's it.
But I don't know. There was something super creepy about fixed camera angles.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of wiggle room to play around with that. Just putting stuff off screen and just like I think you can really enhance the environments when you don't have to worry about it moving around
Or
and seeing it
how-
from all angles. And
How
everything.
how far you have to go around a corner before the camera actually changes really adds to the horror perspective. Because I remember that as with Silent Hill as well, because it kind of had the same type. Like you had to get to a certain point down a hallway and around a corner before it picked up in that next hallway, and you don't know if there's a dog jumping through a damn window or what the hell is around the corner. And I think that really did add to a little bit of the horror aspect that they were going for.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, no, I have to agree as well that the restrictive nature of the game adds to its tension, which is still ironic because the game is so funny, but it's scary too.
Yeah.
It's
It
weird.
is.
I have to say, for gameplay, I just want to talk about the weapons for a minute, and we can break them down or whatever. But I found that the shotgun headshots were the most satisfying thing.
Oh yeah, when you can
We
pop
just
their
tilt
head
it
off.
up.
You
Yep.
just tilt it up and boom, gone, dropped into
Done.
one. I mean, the Colt Python is satisfying too, but something about when you get the shotgun, you really feel empowered, and those headshots were. I just enjoyed that a lot.
Well, especially being the next weapon after just dealing with the handgun, where it takes
Right.
like 6-7 shots to drop a damn zombie, and then one got. And I did when I first played through. It's pump 1 or 2 with the shotgun, and then by mistake, it was only after a little bit I realized you can tilt up and down, and then it was I by accident tilted up and then just headshot zombie, and it's like, I can do that.
Yeah, you should have read the manual. Would have told you how to play the game.
Did anybody use the knife?
I think I tried once. I did
it's so bad.
my first go. I was like, let's see how far I can get without dying. Fucking idiot! Didn't save at all, and I got somewhere and I only had the knife, and I was like, oh fuck. I think I ran out of ammo.
Stab you in the nuts.
Yeah, I tried to take out one of the dogs with the knife, and it just didn't happen. It did not work.
It's bad.
I think I tried using it once, and then it was just I got eaten. I died.
I mean,
That was
we
pretty much it.
start with the pistol. So you started with just the knife. You
I
pick
think
up
you're
the
right.
pistol.
I had to go back out to the lobby. Yeah, I just ran away though. I wasn't fighting anybody with a knife.
Yeah.
You just avoid those until you pick up the gun. But I had really limited ammunition for a while, where I would be on my last clip and I'd be like, "Oh, thank God I found more. Oh, thank God I found more." Like that happened for a little bit, where
Gotcha.
I was really running low on ammo. But then I started getting a really large surplus towards like the middle late of the game, where I was just like, I can just shoot whatever now. But no, it was a little trying early in the game. I had to be very careful with my shots.
And that's the nature of survival horror, which the game essentially created. Low ammunition breeds that added tension.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was very true.
So you really have to be careful with your ammo conservation, and then of course knowing when to dodge. Like for instance, the one zombie in the dark hallway near the one, say from it's really vague. Sorry, there. There's like the blue hallway where the tiger thing
Yeah,
used to be.
yeah.
It's the one next to that, around the corner in the safe room, and there's the stairs that come down. It's really dark.
Mm-hmm.
There's only really one zombie that I consistently did not kill, and it was the one that was there because he always started at the same spot, and you could walk through without him getting you. He would just be like, "Rrr." He would like try to come at you, but I kept dodging him, and you come through that hallway so much that it started to become fun for me just to like dodge this guy. He never got me.
Oh, there you go.
What did you name him? Thaddeus?
I didn't name him.
Mr. Rogers.
Mittens.
I named him Barry Jr.
Aw.
So, going off the shotgun thing, like the grenade launcher, like I used it, but I didn't find it nearly as satisfying. You'd think that you would. I missed a lot with the grenade launcher.
They're good for one-shotting hunters, though,
Well, sure.
which I would always save my ammunition when I played through with Jill for that section of the game. It's just so necessary because the shotgun, just 2 to 3 shots per hunter. It was brutal.
Yeah, they got me several times.
Yeah. You can go through a lot of shells.
Yeah.
I did. And a lot of lives.
And if you're not using your ink ribbons right, you can really get screwed up where you have to cover a lot of ground before you can save again.
True.
And a hunter can just one-shot you. Forget it.
Oh, little side note that's different between Chris and Jill, and this is a pain in the dick and actually fucked me over quite a few times.
Storage space.
6 spaces on the body as opposed to 8.
Really?
Yes.
6?
He's got 6.
Oh, fuck that.
Dude.
Joe's got more pockets.
Thank you, Vagina Pocket.
Well, that's not what I meant.
Oh.
A lot of times I found myself carrying the pistol and the clip and a loaded shotgun, but no shells.
Oh, God.
Just for if I get in a pinch,
case.
I have that shotgun I could switch to real quick.
Hell,
Yeah.
I was annoyed just having 8 spaces. Well, that's just compared to like every other game, that we play now where their storage is abundant. But I was annoyed with 8, but 6?
Yeah, 6 is brutal.
Ugh.
So there'd be a lot of times where I'm leaving that item. And what helped too, because I knew I would be coming back to the mansion, I left a lot of the herbs where they were.
The herbs?
The herbs.
Herbs.
Just so I can get them back on my second time through the mansion.
Sure,
Or
okay.
pick them up as I go. And
That's smart.
you know what I mean?
You remember where they are. You're
Yeah,
good.
exactly. And I wouldn't have items all over the place. I'd be like, cool, I'm going to keep these items in this room, but I'm going to clear out this other room. So I know I only have to visit certain rooms when I get back to the mansion and pick some of these items up. No, it was a pain in the dick because that screwed me over a couple times where I needed so many items, but then you pick up a couple key items and you're like, I'm jam-packed. I can't pick up anything else.
I kind of wonder at what point in the design of the game that they decided to put in those magic storage containers that are all linked.
Oh, I
And
know
no matter
that.
where you
The
go.
future.
Yeah, right? It's just like, what? Huh? How does that work?
I think when I know this gets back into game development, they originally wanted to keep them not linked, just single. Like if you put something in this box, you have to go back to that box to pick it up. But
that
they-
would have increased the difficulty quite
Yeah,
a bit.
Oh,
it
yeah.
would. But I know they originally scrapped that idea.
I'm glad they did.
That would have been frustrating.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
I know in Zero there are no storage containers, and you have to manage it between the two of you.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Especially with like only being able to carry like 6 items. You think you just get like a little man purse or something like that and just tuck like 20
Chris
items in.
Redfield.
I found a fanny pack.
I work
Especially if
fanny
he's like
pack.
crushing up herbs, herbs now. You got me saying it. God damn
Yes.
it, Steve. If he's smashing up herbs. Like, how big can they really be? Just jam it in like a little pouch.
Yeah.
I don't get
Yeah,
it.
just jam it in a little pouch. I mean, what else are you going to do?
Oh,
That's what Joe
Rebecca
did.
Chamber.
I'm surprised that's the first one all night.
that's good.
Yeah, sorry, I had to. The boss fights, I'd have to say that I like the V-Jolt's a pain in the dick, but just like using it and
I
basically
like
killing.
that whole section of the game though.
You do the guardhouses.
Yeah. I think I like all the parts that are not the mansion the best. I think I just spent so much time in the mansion. It's just these
Yeah.
other areas in the game you don't get to all the time. It just, I dig it. But the guardhouse is nice. I don't really care for the courtyard. The cave is kind of boring.
Yep.
It's just the same palette over and over and over
Yep,
again as
yep.
you run through it.
And
It's
those
very-
giant rocks.
Yeah, anybody
What?
get crushed by a rock?
I did actually.
Did you?
Yeah.
I did previous playthroughs. I didn't on this one. I
Yeah,
knew
yeah.
to back up towards it so that you just run forward
Oh,
as soon as
yeah.
it happens.
'Cause you can't do a 180 turn or whatever.
Yeah.
The controls were a pain in the ass, to be honest.
They were.
Like
I will
they
say that.
Sure.
First starting to get into it.
No. Let's open that can of worms. The controls. Let's do it.
No, that was so goddamn annoying. If I had to try to obviously straight line, but even that, I'm like, oh, let me try using the DualShock. No.
No,
No.
I wouldn't do that. I
No.
was old.
Oh, you could
D-pad.
do it if you wanted. You could just change it to analog in the settings.
Yeah.
You can use the controls. Or is that what you meant?
Oh no, that's what I meant. Like I tried using it for a little bit, and then I just gave up and went back to the D-pad.
Oh, because it's not accurate enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it was that was one of the most frustrating things, and then like trying to run down and run around the corner. Like I've seen videos online where people make it look flawless.
Yeah.
I am far from that. Way far from that.
Just running into a wall.
That,
30 seconds straight.
basically. Yeah.
I think I was hugging the wall too close for the rock, and it got me. That's what slowed me down.
Oh, got it.
Actually, I think I died at both rocks. Come to think of it.
I mean, I just found it kind of annoying just trying to aim up shots. That was a big learning curve for me. It was just trying to like aim, like get used to, okay, if I'm kind of pointing this direction, where do I need to be? Especially with some of the camera angles, that just made it a little difficult to begin with.
Yeah.
Obviously, something started to pick up, started to get used to it, but that would, it took a little bit to get used to that.
I gotcha.
No, the whole thing's a learning curve, I would say.
Yeah, it is. I mean, when I first played the game, it took me a long time to beat it. But I've just played it again so many times. I know where everything is. I know what areas I can cut out. I know, you know what I mean? Like I have it down to almost an exact science playing through this game, which is kind of a bummer because I wish I could go back with just like completely fresh eyes and play it.
Well, what about the Isn't there a mode where you can change up the items?
Oh, a range mode.
Yeah, range.
I didn't play that. I should actually look into doing
I
that.
think you're ready for the arrange
I
mode.
think I am ready for that.
Yeah.
Take on that challenge. God damn it! Why didn't I think of that? See, I should have played through that.
that would have been interesting to I guess look
Yeah.
at. So let's talk about the puzzles then.
Okay.
Like we can get to boss fights.
Yeah,
but-
we'll get the bosses.
There were
that's fine.
puzzles in the game?
Yeah, it was full of puzzles.
The
Oh.
picture puzzle with the ages. You got to hit them in the correct age.
Yes.
A young man or an old withered man.
A wise man.
Yes.
Or whatever.
Yeah, we've found out if you make a mistake, it doesn't really go so well.
I have a
Wow.
confession.
All the birds.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, the fucking birds.
I totally got hit with the birds.
So I have a confession. I stayed away from this franchise when I was a kid because I remember reading about it and thinking, oh, I'll never understand. I'll never solve these puzzles. And I just
Oh,
moved on.
Ralph,
Like
you're-
I didn't have the confidence to play Resident Evil.
You're a
because
smart
of the
boy.
puzzle. Well, I'm just saying. I remember being like, wow. Like at the time, I was like, wow, those puzzles are really complex. Because I was probably playing like Sonic
Spyro the
at that
Dragon.
point, or I was playing Mario 64. And then I saw Resident Evil. I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do that.
Don't say maybe that you might have been playing Mario 64. You were playing Super Mario
Okay.
64.
Well, okay, let's ramble off some of the puzzles, though. It's a minor one, but you got the gas room puzzle with the armor, where you got to cover up the holes or the gas will come through the floor.
Yep. And we see that one again at the end in the lab, which
Yeah, true.
that one was a pain in the ass.
I
to get
didn't know that was
perspective.
that. I would just push the box because I was like, oh, I got to climb through that vent in the wall, not even realizing the button on the floor. And I pushed the box right on it. I was like, God damn it.
Yeah,
Forgot that.
that one, the perspective really screws you over.
What other puzzles were there? I guess the rock boulder thing is kind of a puzzle. Not really.
Kinda. I don't know if I'd really count it.
No.
It just seems the logic behind them to me is like so funny. Like what the eagle and the wolf like medallions that are in the Doom books. That's how you get into the lab. It's like, oh, what time is it? Oh, it's 7:30. I got to work at 8. Well, I got to go get the Doom books, and and then I got to go over and I got to take the medallion out and I got to put it here and drain the fountain, and that's how you get in the lab. Like what? Like how is that a thing? Like it's obviously not a thing, but it just seems so ridiculous that is how they get into that's how you get into the lab. Or you get the Colt Python by taking a jewel out of a stuffed deer, like a mounted deer head. You take the jewel out of that and you put it in a tiger. And I don't even remember where you get the blue jewel.
The blue one, that's behind the clock in the dining room.
It's behind the clock. So you got those two things.
Which you had to put the medallion back into the wall, which is different from the medallion that you took out of the wall.
Yeah, the
to
wooden one and the metal one.
to make that goddamn clock stop ticking.
Yeah. That ticking is obnoxious.
Tick, 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 tick.
All
Just
right,
make
all
it
right,
stop.
Captain Hook. All right, it's gonna be okay. It's just a clock.
Pan.
Or like, okay, I got to play Moonlight Sonata in order to open this door to get another. I get it.
I'm not gonna lie. As soon as I heard that song in the game, I was like, I've got to hear the whole thing. Let's look it up on YouTube.
Moonlight Sonata.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You'd never heard it?
Oh, I've heard it before, but it got it stuck in my head. I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
this isn't going to do justice here. We got to listen to the whole
Moonlight
thing now.
Sonata is like the ultimate timeless like depression song, isn't it? It's like it's pretty sad, in my opinion.
It's really good, though. It's
Oh,
really
yeah.
good.
Classic, more than a classic, legendary.
Legendary.
But I, of course, realize that, this is just a video game thing. Like, they have to have goofy puzzles like this. It can't be, a linear, like, locked in reality setting. I mean, fucking zombies and giant spiders and men with hearts the size of basketballs on their shoulder. It's not real. It's just, to me, it's just so goofy that you have to go through all this bullshit just to get through the house.
Mm.
It is wonky.
And some of the items you have to actually, like, look at them in order to get
I
it is
like
what
that,
you
though.
need. You
I
like that bit?
Because they've dumbed it down in later Resident Evils where you can't spin it around and observe it anymore. It just says check, and it'll do something if there's something to do with the item.
Okay.
They took away the whole 3D.
Open the book
Yeah.
and you get the medallion.
I always
kind
thought that was
thing.
kind of a cool little thing. It's nothing tricky, but
And
just a...
Aren't the keys like they're not named until you look at the back?
Yeah,
of
you
them
got to
and
look at
see
like
it?
the symbol that's on the back of the key, and it'll be the armor, the shield, the helmet, or the sword.
Same with the cranks. It's just a crank until you look at the end of it and see that it's a square or a
Hexagon.
hex.
Yeah.
So
It's a shame
yeah.
they did away with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is pretty cool.
I enjoyed it. Totally unnecessary too, but just adds a little extra something to the game.
Some flavor.
Yeah. Flavor Flav.
Okay, bosses.
Oh, so real quick, the little tidbit I wanted to mention earlier.
Oh, the tidbit.
The spider boss. I don't even. Does it even
Spider.
have a name, or is it just the big spider?
Shelob? I think it's Shelob, right?
I don't even
No?
remember.
So I was poisoned really bad after that fight, and I didn't have any blue herbs on me.
Because you left him.
Blue
you left him
herbs.
in the guardhouse.
Some herbs.
Yes.
Blue. Damn. See a doctor.
And it's like there's no box even close by. Like there's no items close by. Well, not knowing because I forgot
Oh, the
what's
storage
on the
room?
other side. But then, like if you look at your health bar, you can't tell what health you're at when you're in poison because it's purple. It won't show a green, yellow, or a red.
Really?
It shows purple.
It doesn't give you an indication. Okay.
I mean, depending on like the beats, I guess.
Does it say
like how-
caution or anything? Or
No, it just says poison.
oh, you're
like
right.
it'll either say fine, caution, or warning, and this says poison, and it's purple. Doesn't give you any color indicator, so you freak out. How much time do I have before your character dies?
Freak out.
And you could see the thing like I don't know if they change it depending on what your health is, but
heart
I
rate
barely
monitor.
had any beats going on. Like it was very close to flatlining.
Oh,
And I was
God.
like, I haven't saved in like an hour and a half.
Oh,
I
jeez.
don't
Oh
want
my
to play through that again.
God.
And then here I go. Instead of being able to run to a safe room real quick, you have to pick up that stupid knife that's in the corner, slash through the
Yeah.
spider webs. And you're like, dear God, I hope there's a blue herb on the other side of this doorway. I don't know. That was so tense trying to get through that scene and not knowing how much time I have left.
They gotcha.
Freaked me out. And
Capcom
then,
gotcha.
Especially on the other side, you got all the snakes.
Yeah.
in that room.
Yeah, that's right. Drop from the
One of
ceiling.
those, you get this one little small bite that could finish you off. I was so frantic at that point in the game. Freaked me out.
So when you got in the room, then there was a blue herb, right?
I just went into the chest.
Oh, you had some in the chest.
Yeah, there's a
That's
chest right around the corner from there. So,
Some of that backup herbs.
herbs.
Yeah, the snakes falling from the sky annoyed me in like the back courtyard. It's like, where are they coming
Oh, yeah,
from?
Right along
What
the,
is this?
I kept wanting to call it a pool,
sky.
but it wasn't a pool.
It's kind of like a pool. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, the spider was pretty generic. The snake was just weird. Plan 42 is kind of.
I can-
Yeah,
I
I
tell you,
don't know how to.
the wasps. I know it's not a boss.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
Real
yeah.
quick, I just wanted to talk about the wasps. I really wanted to shoot the beehive with a shotgun and just watch it explode. And I know I don't think you can get away with that, but I don't even know if you can kill the bees or
Yeah.
get rid of them. Is there any?
I don't know.
No, I don't know.
I remember I was playing around with the control, the door lock, with the red lights. Man, I'm being very descriptive here. The keypad, and because the guide I was using, the code did not work, so I ended up just playing around with it, and eventually the bees started to come at me. I was like, oh shit, I forgot about them, and I had to run out of the room and then come back in.
That's funny because a long time ago when I was living with Clark, I was playing, I think it was a remake,
Yeah.
and the bees were coming at me, and I just like freaked out. I was like, bees! And he's like made fun of me ever since. 'Cause I was just sitting in the living room with him, and he's doing something else on the computer or something like that, and just out of nowhere, I like freak out, and I'm like, bees! I don't know. It was funny at the time. I'm sorry, but you were talking bosses.
Yeah, just a little bit about the bosses. Like, Tyrant, the first time you fight him, it's sort of like, what? Like, you shoot him a couple times and he falls over and you're like, that's it?
Yeah.
Weird. And then, of course, he gets you at the end.
Well, you knew that couldn't be the last of them.
Yeah, I
that
guess
would
you're
be
right.
too easy.
It could have been an ultimate failure. But
Oh God.
for me, for this latest time going through it, I actually thought I'd get wise against Tyrant. And because you have to wait until the timer turns red in the last 30 seconds, that's when Brad Vickers will drop the rocket launcher for you to finish Tyrant. I had maybe a minute to spare, and I got to the helipad. I was like, I'll just wait. I'll just wait until I'm at 45 seconds, and I'll be fine. I'll be there, and Barry will drop the rocket, and I'll shoot Tyrant dead, no problem. So I did that, and I waited until 50 or 45 seconds, and the cutscene begins, and the timer doesn't stop. And I thought, oh shit, I don't know if this is gonna be good. And Bob was there, and Bob was like, I think you fucked it up. And I was like, no, like it'll be okay. It'll drop. Watch.
I
See.
like
And he's
Bob
like,
more and more.
No, I think you fucked it up. And I was like, but dude, I'd have to play the last 20 minutes again because I was out of ink ribbons. It's like, it's not gonna happen. I'll be okay. The timer stops at 15 seconds. Or I'm sorry, the timer doesn't stop at 15 seconds. The cutscene ends at 15 seconds, and I'm in the center of the helipad, and Brad Vickers is above me. No rocket launcher. Boom! Explosion. The end. Just died. It just didn't happen. It was like, I tried to get smart on the game, thinking I could, save a little time. Didn't happen. So I replayed it again. I gave myself more than a minute to get in there, and I had to dodge Tyrant the whole damn time. Used all my health. Finally got the rocket launcher at the 30-second mark and killed him. It's kind of funny. I kind of wish I had the footage for it. I mean, the whole thing was funny, and you had to be there. It was just like, no, I'll do this. It'll be great.
It'll be all right. It'll be fine.
It'll be all right. Like,
Nah,
fuck,
you
fucked it up. You fucked it up. No, it'll be all right.
Though that was a satisfying just him exploding. You nail him with the fucking rocket launcher. Yeah, it's just
Replay, other directions or different
Oh
angles.
yeah, and just body parts. Just God, it was bad. Can you kill him normally?
I don't think so.
No. It literally rocket launcher is.
That's a question for you. I would ask you, Mr.
Yeah, I don't know.
Seven
I don't know. I've
Times.
never tried.
Maybe in a range.
Maybe. Or he appears
You
over
actually
there
use the-
instead of through that hole over
Oh.
there.
turns out you have to use the knife.
Oh God! Just power off.
Maybe with the range you fight Tyrant instead of the giant snake. And at the end it's the giant snake that comes out. No, I don't think that's the case. It would just be funny if there was a boss rush mix-up mode.
No, I will say, now this is completely side note. I did play this on the PlayStation 1 console. It was just funny to hear all the
Oh, you did?
zzz, zzz, zzz noises that it
disc?
makes when it's loading and everything like that. I was like, yeah.
Oh, that's cool, man.
classic.
Nostalgia.
I got to admit, that's pretty damn
Yeah,
cool.
I
I
did
already
it.
had it downloaded for the PlayStation 3, so I played that. And I seriously considered buying a copy for the Sega Saturn, because I'm not sure if I mentioned that or not, but the game was ported to the Saturn and has some unique enemies and weapons,
Interesting.
which nobody has a Saturn.
Oh, speaking of weapons, you guys did not use the flamethrower, did you?
Nope.
Negative.
God damn, was it terrible.
Really?
And you can only use it in the caves because you have to put it back on panels on the wall to get through certain doors. And the ammunition, I mean, you literally kill an enemy or two and it's empty.
Oh,
And
God.
you get two of them. But I tried to use it on the spider boss, did not go so well. It was bad.
An attempt was made.
Yeah, I wanted to try it because I never really get to play it, but it was bad. Wasn't worth the time.
And now you know why you don't play it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a bummer. Like, I just feel like I was missing out on a whole nother weapon than you guys, because you guys got the grenade launcher, and I did not.
Suck it.
Shuck it long and shuck it hard.
Oh, another thing that I had to do with the Chris playthrough. I feel like Chris is the harder character to play through this game.
He is. I don't think that's really up for debate. You have to get all the keys, and you have less slots.
Yeah, like
and-
with the lockpick, you guys get a lockpick to open a lot of...
Oh, you get small keys, don't you?
I have to get small keys to unlock drawers to get more shotgun shells.
Oh.
And you guys probably get grenade launcher rounds in those same things that you already have the lockpick for.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm just picking up shotgun shells.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah.
So glad I played through as Jill.
And then I have to carry around that one single key as one of my slots to go unlock that drawer. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
just
Yeah, no.
there's a lot of tedious.
Have this one
playthrough.
thing take up more space that you really,
Like,
really
it's
need.
it's a tiny key, and it even says small key. Like, bunch them all together. I just don't get it. That's frustrating. All right, that was my rant.
Okay. Your rant's over. All right, that's fine. Do your thing. Steve, you got a rant? You got something building there? No, don't go there.
No.
Did you do a lot of experimenting with mixing the herbs? Oh man, I'm gonna piss off a listener by saying herb.
You gotta mix them, man.
I'm so glad I started that. A little bit. I tried finding out how many times I could mix herbs, like over and over.
Herbs.
All right, I got to stop that.
Yeah,
now.
we'll just say herb.
So a little bit, but not too much. I was just more focused on either just trying to make health or just making sure I had something to cure poison if that were to pop up. So not really too much, like, because I know there was like what are some of the other ones like?
There's
were
green, red, and blue.
Yeah.
So a green and red does 100% health, or 3 greens combined do 100% health.
Yeah.
But each green by themselves does 25% health. Blue just
Cures poison.
cures poison, doesn't do any health effect.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can create the ultimate combination, which is a green, a red, and a blue, which gives you like a gold.
Oh, I never did that one.
Yeah, it's like 100% health plus it cures poison. It's like,
Oh, I wouldn't have guessed that.
yeah.
I usually just
I
did
lied.
2 greens or a red and a green. That's usually all I did.
Boo. You can even do a green and a blue solo. Makes a
Ooh.
silver one.
And
Oh
that,
yeah, that's right.
that takes away poison and gives you some health.
A lot of times I combine them to consolidate my inventory.
Your space.
Yeah, for carrying stuff around.
Yep.
So, yeah. I also didn't like, it was a little frustrating if I wanted to clear a spot, I couldn't just consume an herb to eat up one of my spots.
Yeah.
Literally, once you pick it up, you either have to take damage to use it or drop it in a box. You can't just...
Or you can't just drop
Yeah.
items.
You can in some of the later games. You can even swap certain items and stuff. So,
Yeah.
But, no, it wasn't that bad.
All right. If we're done with gameplay, let's move on into graphics.
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 All right, so this is a PlayStation 1 title primarily. It was later ported to the Saturn, as I mentioned. But it has pre-rendered backgrounds, it has full motion video, and it has 3D polygonal characters, which look pretty dated today, but it's really part of its charm now, I think. You know what I mean? It didn't look bad at the time. I think it was pretty innovative at the time
I
for
agree.
the pre-rendered background, similar to Donkey Kong Country, the way they used pre-rendered 3D models, but they put them on a 2D plane, and that really made everything pop. Graphically, I really don't know what we can say about this game at this point, you know, it being as old as it is, and it being practically not iconic, because we say that too much, but a classic, a time capsule, all those things. I probably wouldn't change a pixel if I had the option. I think it should stay the way that it is.
No, I mean, you didn't really have too much to really work with for the actual gameplay wise. FMV, that was my favorite part of the entire graphics. Just saying, that was so terrible,
FMVs
so
were awesome back then, though.
bad that they were so good. I loved it. I hated them and I loved them.
Shout out to FMVs. You can find a lot of FMV games online, of people doing Let's Plays that are just hilarious.
Yeah.
Toonstruck, one of the best ones.
Yeah.
Christopher Lloyd.
I think the first two, or 1 and 2, Phantasmagoria, they're all FMV. Like, they're the FMV games. Like, you click on, you click on a desk and you walk up to it and you open a drawer and there's an item in it and you put it in your pocket. But the whole thing's FMV. There are a lot of games like that in early 90s, mid 90s, that kind of thing.
I don't think we really need to spend too much time on this category for this game. I mean, I think it looked creepy. I think they did well. Yeah, I think they did well with the design of the mansion, the other places. Like, they definitely went for that dreary look, which really added to the feel of this game. I like the character designs. The menu system, I think, looked cool.
Oh, yeah?
I did like that. Just the way everything was organized. You have your items. It just makes it look... I don't even know what the term would be, but it just...
Well, you should really come up with a term to use. The interface. You like the interface.
I do like the interface.
I like the outer face too.
The ultra face. Ultra face.
No, I like. There's really, I don't know. Graphically, I just think it looked really good for its time.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to say that it doesn't. I find it very interesting that the game has such a combination. Like I said before, it's got in-engine cutscenes. It's got full motion video. It's got, well, it doesn't really have pre-rendered stuff now. It has pre-rendered backgrounds, but not pre-rendered cutscenes. It's like Metal Gear without the FMV. Or it's like Metal Gear with FMV, if that makes sense. Which would be really funny in hindsight if Metal Gear had FMV. Obviously, it came a couple years after, but...
Wait, Metal Gear came later?
Metal Gear came out in 98.
I feel like this game looked better than Metal Gear,
Yeah?
to be completely honest.
But Metal Gear is all in-engine. Clark would make this point to you. Metal Gear is all 3D polygonal in-engine stuff. Like, there are no pre-rendered backgrounds in Metal Gear.
Okay.
Speaking for you, Clark.
I don't know. It just...
Well, think of it,
I
think of it
I
this
like
way.
pre-rendered, though.
Okay.
I think it has a cleaner, more polished look, to be
So-
completely honest. If you compare those games side by side, Metal Gear looks a lot grainier.
So, if I remember right, you had like problems with your setup. Was the way that you played it, didn't you? Play it on like you played on the original PlayStation version on an HD TV, and it looked terrible.
Yeah, but I mean, I played this on an HD TV as well.
Oh, that's a fair point. You plugged the PlayStation into that straight.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Just real quick, the pre-rendered backgrounds require no like processing, no anything. So the game literally has to, with the door transitions, which is everyone's a loading screen, which Metal Gear has loading screens, but not as many.
Not like that. If I want to go upstairs in Metal Gear, I don't have to go through a loading screen of me walking upstairs.
When it's you and a zombie, the game is processing those polygons, the zombie and you, not the backgrounds.
True.
In Metal Gear, it's processing everything.
Okay. But still for the look. I mean, that's maybe better for the
It's a technical achievement.
Yes.
Versus
when it comes to pre-rendered backgrounds, what it can be more compared to, like when it has to you said like render all the backgrounds and everything for like Metal Gear. The pre-rendered backgrounds are more of like a piece of art.
okay, true.
Somebody created that
Yep.
and was able to just, this is how it's going to be captured more or less forever.
Right.
And I just think it looks more artistic than like some of these
Okay.
pixelated backgrounds that you would find in like Metal Gear.
Okay.
And I think that's what I really liked. Not trying to get off topic, but Final Fantasy VII, where they had the pre-rendered backgrounds, and
Yeah,
then
same thing.
they looked beautiful because it was like a work of art. It wasn't something that had to be ran.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I really do.
And I think in games in general, I know we've moved way beyond that, but I still miss that pre-rendered background thing. It was a work of art in video games.
you know what's funny is the Resident Evil remake for the GameCube, they did the same thing. Those are pre-rendered backgrounds.
Really?
And that game, that's why they could make that HD remake and make it look so good, because, and even for the GameCube, it was like, wow, this game looks fucking incredible.
It did. If you
Like,
get a
it looks
chance,
incredible for 2002.
It looks a generation beyond.
Exactly. Because they use pre-rendered backgrounds even for the remake.
Well, then I guess they still could be used in modern games and still get
Which
away
is
with it.
what- oh, they
Depends
could.
on the
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
It depends on the. You have to use it on the right game. You can't
Yeah.
use it on anything.
I mean, pre-rendered backgrounds have to have a fixed camera.
But yeah,
How else do you get around that?
I like the fixed camera too. I don't know. Maybe it's like a perfect formula for me. Maybe that's why I really like it.
Somebody
Like,
should make a Kickstarter for a retro throwback to survival horror,
Yeah.
where it's fixed cameras, pre-rendered backgrounds, and just processing the characters.
Someone would do it.
Surprised it's not already a thing.
Maybe it is. We just have to go find it.
Yeah. Steve, anything graphics?
I think you two pretty much fucking covered everything on that. I was just kind of enjoying sitting back and just listening to you two go. It's like, all right, let's let it go. No, I think I pretty much already covered my piece of it within the graphics. Speaking of the fixed camera, you know, how they really added the extra suspense just by using the fixed camera rather than you being able to be a little more in control of it. You are pretty much at their will, which I think is a really good way to actually play through. I do wish there would be some more that would actually pull a fixed camera horror, because I don't think, I don't know, I just found that's the right way to do it. Or at least that's just the right way I think I know I like in a game of how to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, why don't we move right on over to... Music.
Music.
All right, so what can we say about the music? Where should we start?
I never noticed that one song in the basement until you pointed it out to me, Ralph. But now I can't get it out of my fucking head. And it's when I got to that part in the game, too. I was just like, God damn it, Ralph. Now it's like, this part of the game is ruined for me.
God damn
It's only like one room, though.
No, I
It's
know
like-
it is. It's a very small location. And I
It's
don't
like,
even know
why is it there. Like, and it's only in the director's cut, as far as I know.
Yeah.
The original didn't have it, so it's like, ha 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 ha. Let me add this funky music here to the basement, and it'll be better. Now, director's cut. Like, what? Why? I mean, it doesn't have to be like super scary or anything. I mean, it's so awful.
Yeah.
No, not a lot of the music in the game is super memorable to me.
Well, I don't know. I think that excuse me. I don't know. I think that the storage room. I think the storage room is pretty memorable.
That is. And they use that in almost every single game too. Like
Oh,
that.
do they really?
Yes.
I didn't realize it
that
recurred.
Really, really. It's a reoccurring song, just like the light piano. I can't even tell you how it goes, but that you hear that song. If you were to hear that anywhere, you would be like, "Oh, Resident Evil," right away.
Yeah, okay.
Hmm.
I believe that.
I didn't even think about that. Good call. Good call on that.
So there are several composers for the game. I'm seeing they're all in Japanese. I could, butcher them all here, but last names looks like
You're going to butcher all the Japanese? Jesus, Ralph.
Makoto Tomozawa, Koichi Hiyoki, Masami Ueda. 3 composers. I don't know if
Okay.
they all worked on the first version only,
Got
or
it.
if maybe one of them created the lovely basement theme. Any of our listeners, guys, go to YouTube, type in Resident Evil basement theme. You will find what we're talking about if you haven't played the game. And if I were you, I would open several browsers or several tabs of the same thing, make duplicates, and listen to them all together, like row, row, row your boat. It amplifies the experience. It's glorious.
Worst
It's
suggestion
painful.
ever.
It's painful. You can do that, but first you should get earplugs. There you go. Then you're good. It's like someone's cat walked across a synthesizer. And to be honest, I think that's I think that's a direct quote from Bob. I think that's what that is. I think he told me that.
20 points, Bob.
Yeah,
20
points for Bob.
20 points.
It's a fucking synthesizer.
It does.
just
It's
awful,
ridiculous. It has no place in this game.
which just adds to its
Yeah, I
its
know.
legacy.
That does kind of sum everything up for me right there.
Do you have anything else you want to add for music? I don't hate it.
No, a lot of it is moody and
Yeah,
and
I
suits
think
it
you
well.
have to have that kind of music
Yeah.
for a game like this.
General sound effects, I liked most of the gun sounds. Again, the shotgun was satisfying, and that has
Yeah.
to do with the sound effect. The zombies, when I think of a zombie, like the sound a zombie makes, I think of Resident Evil. I think, I don't think of like brains. I think,
Yeah.
Well, I think they're the same. It's just instead of saying brains, it's just.
It's
Pretty
in
good.
their language. That's what they're actually saying.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, check
Need
that
an
out.
interpreter.
Missed that
The
one.
Hunters freaked me out with their sounds. Like it's almost like a screech. If you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they have like a screech.
Yeah. Almost like a winding down one too when you kill them.
Don't they gurgle? They're like,
What other sound? You know what sound effect I really like in this game, and it always really set the tone for the end of the game, was that alarm going off. Yes. Really amps up the intensity at the end of the game.
It really makes you like, oh shit, I gotta go.
Yeah. And I don't know, I've always remembered that every time I played this game, and it just like really kicks it into overdrive. And I remember it just like, I don't know, just hitting that sweet spot, like this is it kind of thing.
It's the final countdown.
Yeah, it's just perfectly placed.
Thank you.
I think that's the thing. It's not just
no,
thrown,
I think you're right. Yeah.
thrown without the game. Like it's a clear signal. Like this is it.
What if
Shit's
the
going
alarm was
down.
the alarm could have been the basement theme?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm going to keep doing that. I just can't help myself.
The voice acting we already really got into. It's really bad, but
It's
perfect. It's memorable.
It's
Fantastic.
perfect.
It is memorable.
Fantastic. I will not forget.
This mansion is filled with terrible demons. Ouch!
I've been listening to Ralph quote Resident Evil quotes for years now.
And I'd never played the game. I was quoting I'd never played the game.
Ah, Jesus.
That's dedication right there. I'll tell you what.
Nobody does that shit. I haven't even played the game.
It was funny. But yeah, no. So music, I think, will get a pass. Sound effects get a pass. Voice acting would be the bad one out of the three.
Check plus plus.
Yes,
Check
please.
plus. More, please. Jeez. So yeah, I guess that's my final thoughts on music.
Okay, right. Final thoughts just for music. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you summed it up pretty well. I really don't have anything else to add other than I love all the voice acting.
Yeah, and I'm actually I am dead serious. I love the voice acting in this.
Yeah.
It was just so damn bad. It's just
Oh yeah,
so
yeah. You said
good.
Yeah, this was like the saving grace for it, right? You said
Yeah,
that?
that for me, for this that was what really made the game for me. Like that's what made me want to keep playing. Is what the hell are they going to say next? How terrible is it going to be? and I was not disappointed in the very least.
So you knew none of the dialogues. Like, this was literally your first time hearing.
This was my first
some of
time
these.
hearing, and then just knowing that, oh, Harry really loves Resident Evil. Let's see what it's all about. Oh my God. Let me hear more.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the only thing I have to add. That was
Whoa.
hands down my
This hall's dangerous.
yeah.
There must be a back door somewhere.
Oh, you know the back door.
Sorry, I interrupted you. I just
No, that's okay. You don't interrupt for the back door for
Barry
nothing.
Burton.
Barry Burton loves the butt.
All right. He does have a wife and family, so I guess it's possible.
You never know. Kid number 3 didn't come along just for that reason.
What are we talking about now?
Biohazard.
Butt sex.
He likes big guns and he cannot lie. Barry Burton.
Yeah,
can't
like his
deny.
opening thing. He's just, playing with his revolver.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right. I think that's it for music.
I think that's it.
Let's move into our final thoughts for Resident Evil.
All right.
Final thoughts.
Who
All
wants, who wins this?
Final thoughts? You know what? Steve, go for it.
Final thought. I'm going to be honest. I really had to push through to actually finish the game. It wasn't my cup of tea. I probably, if I played it when it very first came out, maybe a different story. Not the case. Not the case for me, except for the voice acting. Like, I am not lying where
He's going to bring it back in every
I
segment.
I know, every
will.
segment we talk about the voice acting.
I loved it, but that was about all that I loved about it.
Jill, I love you.
Yes.
Does he say that?
No.
No.
Oh, okay.
He's got a family.
He's got a
got a
family.
little
He's got a wife and kids. You show the picture.
Traumatic times, man. You know.
You never know. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But no, that's my final thought right there. It just sums it up.
All right.
Good luck, Harry.
Going into this game this time, I thought I was going to be pretty disappointed, knowing everything about the game already, having played it. It's several generations gone. I knew about the bad voice acting. I knew the graphics don't hold up the greatest. I thought all these negative things going into the game that I was just going to try to tromp through it and just be done with it. I was so happy to play this game again midway through. I was like, I love this fucking game so much. I forgot all about why I love it. And it was just really hitting a sweet spot again. And I really enjoyed playing through, and I didn't rush. I enjoyed and took everything in, made sure I explored every single room, killed every single enemy, just to get the full fucking experience again. No regrets. Love this game.
No regrets.
No regrets.
No regrets.
No mean.
I have to admit that coming to a conclusion about Resident Evil for me is a little bit difficult because I don't really know what to say. Like it's not iconic in the sense that we normally use the word. I want to say that it's classic, but it's not really classic either. It's sort of its own thing. There aren't that many games I can think of that are this old, that are this funny and scary, innovative and backward. Like it just I don't know how to equate it. I know that I avoided the franchise. I finally played it after learning about it a lot, actually. I was not disappointed. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I will continue to enjoy this game for years. It's interesting that the sequels became more serious and more critically liked, I think. Even though this one has pretty decent scores, it's just you can't take it seriously. So you can take Resident Evil 2 seriously. You can take Nemesis seriously, Code Veronica seriously. Examples. I would say that this game needs like an asterisk. Like it needs to be set aside. It needs to be on like a different shelf. Like you don't put it next to Super Mario World, and you don't put it near I don't know. What's the worst game you guys can think of right now?
No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky. I wouldn't put it at No Man's Sky. I wouldn't put it at not that Super Mario World's the pinnacle or anything, but put it up there. It's its own thing. That's where I'm at with it. But I've never been disappointed with my experience. All right.
All right.
Well, fuck it. Let's move on to the fucking score.
the fucking score.
Who wants to start?
I don't know. Jill or Chris? Yeah, ruffle your papers there.
Well, we do a Jill, Chris, Jill.
I don't need to look it up.
Jill, Chris, Jill?
Yeah, I mean, we
All right.
can do that.
Let's do that. You
It's a
start, Steve.
Chris sandwich.
On that note,
We're almost a crisp sandwich.
voice acting A++. Overall game for me, C- teetering on D.
Oh, goddamn.
But
That score's really powerful, especially against Harry's nostalgia.
it is the ultimate score. C-.
Jesus.
Sorry, buddy.
No, that's fine. Each his own. Because mine's going to be very vastly different.
I know. I knew that coming tonight.
Nostalgia aside, taking the game for what it is, the voice acting is what really, in my opinion, I know a lot of people are like, it really adds to the character of the game, but I think that is the biggest detriment to this game. Oh, God, it's always so tough to grade a game. All right, I'm going to go with 8.5, tied with Silent Hill.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
That's sort of where I was floating around, for my out of 100% score, but I think I'm just going to give it a 300% and call it a night.
Wow.
Official, put it in stone. 300%.
300%.
Like the volume on my stereo. I play it. No, all jokes aside.
We got to get that THX sound clip.
Yes.
Oh, you want that? You want that? I can do it.
No, we're good. We're good.
I mean, completely unrelated, but one night I was like, I want to hear all the THX sound effects ever. And you can find them. Someone did like a compilation. It's like 1983, 1984, 1985, and it changes. Anyway.
Fascinating.
THX. Yeah, George Lucas's stereo sound. Yeah, of him taking a dump on his golden toilet. Anyway, Resident Evil. I don't want to look at my other scores for this, so I'm going to give it a 90.
Oh, wow.
Dang.
I'm going to give it a 90 with an asterisk. That this game is fucking ridiculously glorious. Okay.
So before we conclude tonight's evening, we do want to do a very special shout out and dedication
To who? To who? To who? To who?
to Mr. Andy Hess.
Woo!
Mr. Andy.
So- It is part of the Patreon donorship that you do get your own dedicated episode, and this one is getting dedicated to Mr. Andy Hess himself.
Oh yes, Andy. I hope that you've played this game. That way you listen to it. But yeah, you're our major patron supporter. We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Keep yourself safe from biters and from hunters and Cerberuses and
Ooh.
Neptunes. Neptunes. We didn't talk about
We
Neptune.
did not talk about Neptune.
That giant shark. That
it wasn't much
joke.
in this game, but they turned it into a full-fledged boss in the remake.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, sorry, Neptune. Next time. Isn't gonna be next time, Neptune.
So what do we got next on the agenda?
Next on the agenda is, could it be?
The one.
What?
Wambo? What mean expendable? It's like you get invited to a party. Doesn't matter if you go. No one cares if you make it. The invitation's just for show. We're playing Rambo for the PlayStation 3. We're playing Rambo. Yeah, that's right. For the PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
Hello? Is this thing on? We're playing Rambo for the PlayStation 3. It's a real thing. You'll find it online if you search. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I don't know why or how this is happening, but this is happening.
It's happening.
I
It's
hope,
happening.
because I've already read online this game gets trashed. I'm hoping this game just blows me away,
And you love it.
and I love it.
Terry, it's a rail shooter.
Yeah, I know.
Like Virtual Cop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Should be great.
Murdoch.
Good thing I stole that Time Crisis machine.
I'm coming for
Hook
you.
this up.
Yes. Only with the foot pedals.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Hell yeah. Time Crisis 5.
Time Crisis is dead. Resident Evil zombies are dead. This episode's dead.
It's time to take off from this episode like Kenneth's head from his body.
Oh,
Appropriate.
I hear in the distance a helicopter. Perhaps it's Brad Vickers. Let's get the hell out of here.
Game over. Game over. Game over. Game over. Game over.
Thanks for listening to Super Fun Game Review Podcast Go. Stay up to date on our Facebook at facebook.com/superfunpodcast.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Super Fun Game Review Podcast Go! I'm your host tonight, and we are reviewing a game.
Well, I hope so.
Are we? What did I do
I know,
the
I'm
past
questioning it now.
couple weeks? I guess you can call it a game.
Tonight
I got
we're
it.
reviewing a pack of crayons.
I got it.
I got
like-
cyan.
I like fuchsia.
This doesn't taste like evergreen.